Okay, so I got a question, folks. Real quick question for the progressive left. Does this mean now that it's okay for you people to be openly supportive of the Roman Catholic Church? I've never seen the left come to the defense of a pope or the Catholic Church like I have seen them come to the defense of the Pope and the Catholic Church this time. This is one of those days where my dad would not believe what has happened here. Greetings, my good friends, and how are you? Great to have you here, Rush Limbaugh, as usual, predictably, reliably so, behind the golden EIB microphone, executing assigned host duties flawlessly, zero mistakes. Even though it's early, there won't be any because I can't do wrong. I mean, the show is me, and what happens is me, and there's no mistakes to it. Anyway, telephone number, if you want to be on the program, is 800-282-2882. The email address, lrushbo@eibnet.com. So here it is. It's all over the place. Pope Francis to Rush Limbaugh. I'm no Marxist, but I've known plenty of good Marxists, and they're not bad people, but I'm not one of them. Or whatever. Folks, the media is beside itself. They don't know what to do. They're conflicted. They can't, look at, that you know they despise the Catholic Church. They despise it. They despise the Pope, the papacy, not the Pope personally, but just the office. They despise it because it is the seat of modern morality and judgmentalism. It is purely pro-life and anti-abortion. It is anti-gay marriage. And yet, the media's jealousy, envy, hatred for me has driven them into the arms of the Pope. But they can't, I'll tell you what else I've detected. 6 audio sound bites on this. The media is livid at the same time that the Pope deigned to respond to me. That has them ticked off. They name him Man of the Year simply because he attacks capitalism and ticks me off. And in the process, they've named as Man of the Year the biggest pro-lifer in the world, the institution that's biggest pro-life institution in the world, the biggest institution anti-gay marriage in the world, and they are recognizing this guy as Man of the Year for one reason. He did a big hit on capitalism, they think, which is an ancillary reason that ticked me off, so they think they've got a twofer here. But they have now been unwittingly driven into the arms of the Catholic Church. They are embracing Il Papa. I'll tell you, the Lord does work in mysterious ways. It wasn't that long ago. If you hit out at the church, you would be excommunicated or otherwise. But you would never, ever be responded to. You would never be reacted to. Talent on loan from God. You know, the thing is, I didn't know about this over the weekend. Nobody told me, and I didn't pay any attention to the news over the weekend. I really didn't. We did some Christmas, both days, a lot of Christmas wrapping and stuff and just the usual Christmas season stuff. And I didn't have any news on. And so I didn't know that until last night. I got an email from somebody last night who said, "Do you believe all this snarky coverage about you and the Pope?" And I didn't know what it was about. I got in here this morning, and there are 6 sound bites that Cookie has prepped on this. And so there's a legitimate question here for the left. I mean, they're ticked off. I'm not making this up. I've studied it now. They're ticked off that the Pope acknowledged me and responded. No matter what he said, that's not the point. The fact that he responded ticks them off. The second thing is, look at what they've done. Just to repeat, this is profound. The left's sacrament is abortion. It's the defining characteristic of modern progressivism and liberalism. Bigger than anti-capitalism, bigger than the redistribution of wealth, bigger than it. Pro-abortion identifies them. That is the litmus test. You cannot be a leftist and be everything else, but if you are pro-life and Marxist, you cannot be a leftist. You can't. Being pro-life will cancel everything out. That's how big it is on the left. Pro-abortion, abortion itself is the sacrament to the left, and you can be the biggest leftist, socialist, communist in the world, but if you're pro-life, you don't get a ticket into their little tent. And yet, they have embraced, they have honored, they have bestowed upon one of their highest awards, the Man of the Year. Time magazine, representing the Democrat Party, representing the Obama administration, representing all of the worldwide left. Time magazine, Man of the Year, Pope Francis. A man who is opposed to the main thing they believe in, abortion. Opposed to the second biggest thing they believe in, gay marriage. And yet they have honored him. Why? All because I, El Rushbo, who they despise apparently even more, deigned to be critical of the Pope's criticism of capitalism. And that made them think that he was an ally of theirs. As Mr. Snerdley just said, the Lord works in mysterious ways. And so now it's a serious question for the progressive left. Does this mean that it's okay for your Catholic members to say they're Catholic? Is it okay for leftist Catholics to be openly Roman Catholic now? Are you going to stop bashing the church at every opportunity? Or was it just a convenience play? Was it just a convenient thing to side with the Pope for a few days because you think the Pope is a compadre in your anti-capitalism, and as a bonus, you hate me, and this gives you a chance to think everything's about me. Look at the conflict that they got. So now you name the Pope the Man of the Year. How can they come out and continue to bash the Catholic Church now? Seriously, with any credibility? They will. Don't misunderstand. I mean, they're not going to openly embrace Catholic Church. I'm putting them on the spot with the question here. Salon.com, March 2011. Let's take a look at some headlines from the past. Just to show you, March 2011, Salon.com, is Pope Francis a fraud? Nope, not anymore. Pope Francis is Man of the Year. I'm sorry, it's March 2013. March 2013. From November 2012, 50 reasons to boycott the church, Salon.com. From May 2002, the arrogance of the Catholic Church, Salon.com. November 2008, why churches fear gay marriage, Salon.com. November 2009, the Pope launches a right-wing affirmative action program, Salon.com. Pope Francis to Rush Limbaugh. I'm no Marxist, but I have known plenty of good ones. That's Salon.com over the weekend. They've gone from, when I tell you that they have unabated hatred for the office of the papacy and the Catholic Church, do not doubt me. The significance of these people embracing Il Papa, I cannot tell you what a profundity it is. Let's just show you. Get the audio sound bites here. This is a montage of the media responding to all of this. Jonathan Karl of ABC News, Headline News, Natasha Curry, George Stephanopoulos. I don't about to give you all the names. It's from all over the spectrum.
Rush Limbaugh recently attacking the Pope, but this weekend Pope Francis responded.
Pope Francis is firing back at critics accusing him of being a Marxist. Rush Limbaugh blasted the Pope.
He responds to criticism from prominent conservatives, including Rush Limbaugh.
Pope Francis says, nope, I'm not a Marxist. The Pope's blunt criticism of capitalism led Rush Limbaugh to call the pontiff's views pure Marxism.
Radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh was quick to jump on that comment.
He's not offended. Rush Limbaugh called him a Marxist.
The Pope responded to some of his critics who called him a Marxist, and maybe not some, but one, Rush Limbaugh. Let's use the name.
Rush Limbaugh lashed out against the Pope regarding capitalism. The Pope says that he is not a Marxist.
Rush Limbaugh sparked the debate over the Pope's beliefs.
The Pope fires back at Rush Limbaugh?
See, folks, that's from the broadest spectrum of the media over the weekend. They're just beside themselves. They can't square it. Here's Yahoo.com. Pope Francis says he's no Marxist, greets worshippers at St. Peter's Square. Pope Francis said he knew a lot of good Marxists, but he was no communist himself, following criticism of his diatribes against unfettered capitalism from conservative commentators in the United States. They quote the Pope, "Marxist ideology is wrong, but in my life I've met a lot of Marxists who are good people, so I don't feel offended." Well, Marxist ideology is wrong, but I've met a lot of them who are good people, so I'm not offended. That does not mean being a Marxist, the Pope said. Just because I know some, just because I like some. Some of my best friends are Marxists, but that doesn't make me one. I've known a lot of really cool, really good Marxists. U.S. radio host Rush Limbaugh labeled as pure Marxism, a text published by the Pope, blah, blah. The stories are, here's Mediaite. Pope Francis addresses ultra-conservatives and Limbaugh, calling him a Marxist. Let's see, there's one more. They're just all over the place here, folks. So it's a profound thing, I think. Profound thing. That the leading anti-abortion, anti-gay marriage person in the world has been named Man of the Year by people who any other day of the week, year, hate the man. The official program observer, Mr. Snerdley, has questioned. What's the question? Why do I suppose the Pope responded? Well, how can I possibly know that? How can I possibly know why the Pope responded? What would be the I have no idea. This is not something I would feel comfortable speculating or get. All I can tell you is, and I've seen nothing officially, but you even mentioned to me you saw this last week. I saw two different stories that the Vatican was trying to walk back the comments that were interpreted as anti-American capitalist. But I've not seen anything official on it. There have been maybe a total of 3, maybe 4 different stories that alluded to the fact the Vatican was a little nervous and was trying to walk it back. Now, if that's true, that could be a reason why. But normally, when you react to something, it's because whoever does it, and it's an open field as to whether or not somebody in the public should respond or should not. I've had this little fight with myself for 25 years, and for as many people have advised me, there are that many theories on whether, and I remember when the program first started and I started getting labeled, just because I'm a conservative, the racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe stuff, and I would have people say, you cannot let that stand. You have got to refute that. You have got. So, that makes sense. So I'd refute it, and the critics delighted. Oh, wow, must hit home here. This must really bug Limbaugh. So they just kept it up. They thought by responding I was admitting it. And other people just ignore it and laugh about it. You can't stop it anyway. Don't give them the pleasure. There are just as many different theories, but the Pope responding to it, again, I'm not going to speculate. I don't know why. I know he's got more spokesmen than anybody else in the world. He did it himself and so forth. I think that this Pope is clearly a populist. In addition to being a Pope, he's clearly a populist. And clearly, by virtue of his own words, he does not want to be thought of as a Marxist. For whatever reasons, he doesn't want to be thought of. So maybe that's it. I got to take a break, folks. Sit tight. We are loaded today.